Archangel Michael says, "This is not a joke. Open this right now. A hidden attack has already touched your health and your house, but you still have 3 minutes left to break it before it grows stronger." There are moments in the realm of the spirit when time bends, when seconds carry the weight of eternity, and this is one of them. Archangel Michael, the defender of the heavenly gates, the sword-bearer of God's justice, steps forth now with a message that will not be delayed, denied, or dismissed. This is not a casual word. This is not for idle ears, and this is certainly not a joke. This message is only for the spiritually sensitive, the ones who have felt a strange pressing in their chest, the ones who have been waking up in the middle of the night without knowing why, the ones who walk through their homes sensing a shift in the air that words cannot explain. To the chosen ones, yes, you, the one reading these very words, heaven has directed this moment, and you are not here by chance. You have been guided to this scroll of warning because a shadow has crept quietly into your space. It has not shouted. It has whispered. It has not broken the door. It slipped through the cracks. And it is not done unless you rise to stop it now. You have 3 minutes, not metaphorical minutes, not symbolic, 3 divine moments in the spirit to respond, to agree, to break, to cancel, and to resist what has already begun to take root in your health, in your sleep, in your relationships, and within the very walls of your home. Something has touched you. Something has touched your house. A shadow passed while you were unaware, but heaven saw it. Heaven caught it. And now, heaven speaks. If you remain in silence and stillness in these next few moments, if you respond not with fear, but with focused faith, it will break before it becomes something worse. If you delay, if you dismiss this, if you scroll past or say, "I'll come back to this later," it may be too late. Heaven has given you just enough time to stop this from spreading. And Archangel Michael hath been sent not just to warn, but to war. Type "I receive this warning" in the comments if your spirit bears witness to this. Blessing code 911 is now covering your house. I, Michael, commander of the heavenly hosts, stand before you now. Not in a whisper, not in symbolism, but in divine urgency. My sword is unsheathed. The alarm has already sounded in the spirit. The air around you has already shifted. You feel it. You felt it. You've been walking through rooms that once held peace but now feel tense for no reason. You've been fighting to find sleep, battling headaches without cause, and noticing a strange unease in conversations that once felt safe. This isn't coincidence. This is not just emotion. This is a divine interruption. By the next sunrise, what is now a whisper in the shadows will try to become a storm in your soul. Within 3 minutes of this very moment, yes, even now as you listen, the unseen force moving against you is attempting to strengthen its grip. It is seeking agreement. It is feeding off silence. It is fueled by delay. That's why I've come. That's why heaven has allowed this moment to pierce through your timeline, your feed, your scroll, your thoughts. You did not stumble across this by mistake. You did not find this message found you. You were summoned into divine confrontation. You were chosen to hear what most are too distracted to receive. Heaven directed you here not to scare you, but to awaken you, because what has touched your house, your health, your atmosphere, can still be broken before it strengthens. I speak to your spirit now, not your ears. For your spirit knew before your mind understood. The uneasiness you felt, the tears you couldn't explain, the tension rising without cause, these were not random. These were the aftershocks of an invisible strike. While others have mocked or ignored what they cannot see, you have discerned it. You have felt the static in the spirit. You have seen the flicker behind people's eyes. You have heard your name mentioned in silence. And heaven has moved to interrupt it. This is not for the crowds. This is not for the curious. This is for the awakened, the anointed, the one who hath been marked by calling and targeted by darkness because of it. You've been under a silent investigation from hell because your name was whispered in heaven. You've been watched by unseen forces because your next season is dangerous to the enemy's plans. This moment is sacred. This message is surgical. And your response will determine what strengthens or what shatters. I do not come to you with vague riddles. I come with fire, sword, and truth. Archangel Michael has stepped into this timeline to confront the enemy before it multiplies. But I cannot move without your agreement. Your words, your stillness, your submission. These are the weapons that invite heaven's armies to fight. So pause. Breathe. Lock in. Within the next 3 minutes, a chain must break. A shadow must flee. A decision must be made. You are not powerless. You are not alone. You are under divine surveillance, and right now, heaven watches how you respond. Type I agree with heaven if your spirit bears witness. Lesson code 1444 is released over your body and your boundaries. There is something that has been watching you, not with eyes of flesh, but with an assignment of darkness. It lingers in conversations that end too abruptly, in glances that feel heavier than words, in the moments you walk into a room and feel the atmosphere shift. You have not imagined it. You are not being dramatic. You are being targeted. And the evidence has already begun to rise. You felt it in your body. Random fatigue that makes no sense. A heaviness on your chest when no diagnosis has been given. Sleepless nights, interrupted dreams, strange aches in your back, shoulders, and neck that medicine cannot relieve. You've prayed for relief, and it comes, but then it returns, as though something is cycling, hovering, watching. This is not just stress. This is not just health. This is harassment in the unseen realm. And it has not stopped at your body. It has moved into your house. The tone of voices you love has shifted. Arguments over nothing. Disagreements that feel unnatural. Loved ones who are now short, distant, cold, even as they don't know why. The enemy has released a whisper, a cold breeze through your atmosphere, and most haven't even noticed. But you noticed. You noticed before this message arrived. You sensed something was off. You felt the inner tension, the spiritual friction. And that's the sign that this message is yours. Because this attack was not launched randomly. It was targeted. Someone has been whispering about you. Someone has been mentioning your name with envy, frustration, or resentment. Someone has opened a door, and in that opening, a shadow was released. But here's what they don't know. They don't know heaven is watching. They don't know Archangel Michael is speaking. They don't know you are covered. They don't know your awareness is a weapon. They know just enough about your life to speak against it, but not enough to stop what God is about to release. Your spirit was disturbed before your mind caught on. You've been waking up at strange hours, feeling uneasy before walking into certain spaces, hesitant before answering certain calls. That wasn't paranoia, that was your discernment screaming. And now heaven confirms it. You're not being punished. You're being prepared. This exposure is mercy. This divine alert is protection. The enemy tried to come in subtly, like a vapor. But the Spirit of the Lord is a wind, and the wind is blowing now to expose, to scatter, and to silence every spiritual spy that's been peeking through the windows of your life. No longer will you wonder if you're imagining things. And no longer will you question your senses. You have been under spiritual surveillance, and now heaven is making sure you know you are not crazy. You are not broken. You are awake. And because you are awake, this assignment is about to break. But you must act. You must stay in the Spirit. You must shut down the noise of distractions and tune into the frequency of revelation. Because what has touched your life is real, but it is not stronger than the hand that covers you. Type I am awakened if this resonates in your spirit. Blessing code 7777 is now releasing clarity and peace to your mind and your home. What you've just heard is not entertainment. It's a spiritual alarm. And if it stirred something inside you, that means heaven is speaking directly to you. When you stand with this message, you're not just supporting a platform. You're sowing into a divine mission to reach the weary, the wounded, and the chosen with heaven's word at the hour they need it most. Every gift, whether through YouTube Super Thanks, channel membership, or a donation via PayPal, becomes a seed of light, breaking through spiritual darkness across the globe. As it is written, He gives seed to the sower and bread to the eater, and your giving becomes a weapon in the hands of God. This is your moment. If you've ever asked, how can I help push light into dark places? This is how. The PayPal support link is in the video description below. Your obedience releases ripple effects in the spirit realm. Blessings return to the faithful. Light multiplies through your hands. Now is the moment. Now is the move. Sow with urgency. Give with fire. Support with faith. Type I will SOW light if your heart agrees. Your support is seen. Your blessing is already returning. This is not just conflict. This is not just tension. This is not just random chaos rising up in your health and your house. This is warfare. And it has been cloaked. It hath been disguised as circumstance. But heaven is pulling back the veil now. And I, Michael, servant of the Most High and general of the angelic host, declare this before your ears and your spirit. This is not life falling apart. This is darkness reacting to your light. You must understand, you are not being attacked because you are weak. You are being attacked because you are dangerous. You are being surveilled in the spirit because your name was mentioned in divine places. This attack is not random. It is strategic. It is not about what you did wrong. It's about what you're doing right. The enemy has sniffed the aroma of your next elevation. The enemy has sensed the oil dripping on your destiny. And before your mantle becomes visible, before your breakthrough manifests publicly, The enemy always tries to attack privately. That's why it started in your sleep. That's why it started with your body. That's why it showed up in the stillness of your home, because the enemy hoped you wouldn't see it. He hoped you'd blame yourself. He hoped you'd get distracted fighting people instead of discerning the spirit behind the storm. But now you know. Now you see. This is not flesh and blood. This is not about who's acting cold or who's growing distant. This is about assignments and atmospheres. You are under spiritual pressure not because you're failing, but because you're about to fulfill. And when heaven is ready to reveal something powerful in the earth, hell tries to interrupt it in its infancy. But listen closely. The outcome is not determined by what's been sent against you. The outcome is determined by how you respond. Will you lash out in fear? Will you fall into the trap of confusion, retaliation, or bitterness? Or will you become silent and let heaven fight for you? Will you obey quickly, trust fully, and stand in the stillness that summons angels? Every whisper spoken against you has been recorded. Every manipulative act, every envious word, every strategy sent to discourage, has already been documented by heaven. There is divine surveillance over your life, and justice is not delayed. But your victory does not come by your retaliation. It comes through your obedience. Be still. Listen. Heaven is watching how you handle this moment. You're not losing your mind. You're not falling apart. You're in the middle of a spiritual test, and the gates of darkness are hoping you'll forget who you are. But I'm here to remind you, you are chosen, anointed, covered, and called. This conflict is not your defeat. It's your training ground. This pain is not punishment. It's preparation. What the enemy meant for harm, God is bending for power. But you must stay aware. You must remember, the real war is never in the natural. It's in the unseen. And your silence, your stillness, your surrender to divine instruction will determine what falls and what flourishes. So lift your head, even through the pain. Wipe your tears, even in the confusion. Because heaven fights for those who are still enough to listen. You are not alone. You are not weak. You are watched by heaven and backed by fire. Type "I know who I am" in the comments if your spirit recognizes this. Blessing code 5888 is now shielding your decisions, your mind, and your momentum. Hear me now, not just with your ears but with your spirit. Because the wind has begun to shift. The atmosphere around you is no longer neutral. The countdown in the spirit has already begun. And what was once subtle is about to strengthen unless it is broken. You are standing at the edge of a divine divide, and within the next 72 hours, what you do, what you say, how you move, and how you believe will determine whether the shadow grows or is shattered. Archangel Michael speaks not to entertain but to interrupt. And I speak now under divine authority to tell you this. Something has already been loosed, and it is not waiting for your permission to take root. It is waiting for your inaction. And if it goes unchallenged, if it goes unchecked, if it is dismissed as just life or just a bad week, it will embed deeper into your health, your mind, your home. But not because you are unprotected, but because the protection must be activated. What began as a faint whisper of fatigue, a flash of conflict, a slight shift in someone's attitude is not random. It is part of a larger movement. Someone has opened a spiritual door through jealousy, through envy, through bitterness, and you felt the breeze of that open door already. You've walked into spaces and wondered why the energy suddenly turned cold. You've seen the eyes that look at you differently. You've sensed the words spoken behind your back. Heaven will not name them. You already know who moves strangely around you. You've questioned it quietly. You've felt the pressure but hesitated to believe it. But this is your confirmation. The plot is real. A motive is rooted in hidden offense, buried resentment, and spoken competition. This is not just about who you are now. It's about what you are about to become. And the enemy is rushing ahead of your manifestation to plant confusion and sickness in your atmosphere before the fruit of your obedience blossoms. But he is too late. Heaven saw it. Heaven intercepted it. Heaven sent me. I am not here to tell you what will happen. I am here to tell you what can be stopped. But only if you respond now. Only if you shift now. Only if you silence the chaos, lean into this word, and understand the divine timeline. The Spirit of the Lord says, if this shadow is not broken within 72 hours, it will attempt to multiply. Not because you are guilty, but because the door was left open. You must shut it. Through prayer, through silence, through obedience. Do not answer in the flesh. Do not defend yourself with angry words. Do not fall into the trap of trying to prove anything. The trap is not set with loudness. It's baited with distraction. It is baited with bitterness. But you must resist. The shadow is not just after your emotions. It's after your alignment. If it can frustrate you, it can delay you. If it can distract you, it can derail you. So this is your moment. 72 hours. Heaven has drawn a line in the sand, not to frighten you, but to free you. What you confront now will not have power later. What you cancel now will not multiply in the next season. The light you carry is far too costly to be entangled in emotional warfare birthed in someone else's bitterness. The fire is close. The smoke has already touched your edges. But the flame will not consume you. If you rise now, you are not powerless. You are not unprotected. You are informed, and that makes you dangerous to the enemy's plan. Type I cancel the shadow in the comments if your spirit knows this moment is divine. Blessing code 3399 is now activated to disrupt and destroy what was planted in secret. You must move carefully now, with precision, with intention, because not every response is safe, and not every reaction is righteous. The enemy is hoping you'll act out of impulse. He's hoping you'll speak too soon, that you will fight the wrong enemy, that you'll defend yourself in the flesh while the real war is being waged in the spirit. But heaven says, be still, be silent, be led, because your next move is not emotional, it is prophetic. Archangel Michael speaks again, not to confuse but to command. The fire is close, yes. The heat has risen, yes. But this is not the moment to swing wildly in the dark. This is not the moment to call everyone, explain everything, or try to fix what is not your battle. The Lord of hosts is standing in your defense. The angels have already been deployed. But heaven moves when you stop. Heaven wars when you worship. Heaven strikes when you stand still. This shadow, this heaviness, this strange interference that has touched your body and your house, it was planted quietly, yes. But now you know it. Now you've seen it. Now it has been exposed. And the way you respond will either attract more darkness or unleash divine justice. The instruction is clear. Do not respond with anger. Do not answer with fear. Do not match energy with energy. The word declares, the Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. That is your weapon now. Stillness. Obedience. Reverence. Withdraw. Pull back from the noise. Step away from unnecessary conversations. Turn off the distractions. For the next 3 days, light a candle if you must, fast if you are led, go silent if your spirit trembles. Something is being fought for you, and your stillness gives heaven space to strike. Your silence is not weakness, it is your alignment with angelic warfare. You've already done enough in the natural. You've already prayed. You've already tried to reason. You've already wrestled in your mind. Now you must seal your atmosphere. Set apart your home. Play worship through the night if needed. Walk through your space and speak peace. Anoint your doors if you feel led. Heaven is watching for agreement. Not just in your words, but in your atmosphere. You don't have to fight this the way the world fights. You don't have to prove your strength. You don't have to beg for clarity. You are not chasing answers. You are commanding order. You are not begging for peace. You are enforcing it. Because this is not your house alone. This is a house marked by heaven. And where the presence of the Lord dwells, shadows cannot stay. Not if you agree. Not if you obey. Declare it now. Over your hallway. Over your bedroom. Over your children. Over your body. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. That's not just a verse. That's a verdict. And heaven enforces it. Angels respond to it. Michael stands behind it. And I walk differently. Move differently. Rest with confidence. Because when you are still, heaven is not silent. When you say nothing, the Spirit says everything. And when you obey in quietness, God roars in your defense. This is your moment of protection. Not through force, but through faith. Not through volume, but through vision. The enemy wanted you agitated, exhausted, and distracted. But now you are still, sharp, and shielded. Type I will be still in the comments to seal your agreement. Blessing code 2442 is now circling your home with divine fire and holy silence. Now rise. Totally. Not with panic, but with purpose. For what you thought was an attack sent to break you was actually a divine alarm designed to awaken you. This moment was never about your defeat. It was about your discovery. The enemy wanted you to see weakness. Heaven wanted you to find your weapons. You are not collapsing. You are transforming. This pain, this pressure, this confusion you've walked through, it was never meant to kill you. It was meant to call you. You've walked through the valley of fatigue, illness, emotional heaviness, and spiritual warfare, not because you're being punished, but because you're being prepared. You've been tempered in the fire. You've been refined in affliction. The shaking you felt was the sound of chains breaking, not your mind breaking. Heaven has been forging something within you that no demon can dismantle. Hear me, you are not weak. You are not fragile. You are not barely making it. What you are is dangerous. Because you've tasted the weight of the shadow and you didn't bow to it. You sensed the darkness before it announced itself. You recognized the storm before it struck. And that recognition is not weakness, it is prophetic authority. They thought you were vulnerable. They thought you would fold. They thought you were easy to manipulate, to confuse, to isolate. But what they didn't see, what even you forgot for a moment, is that you are anointed. And the anointed don't crumble. The anointed conquer. This is not the end of your strength. This is the beginning of your rising. And the shadow that touched your health, your house, your hope, it only touched what heaven was about to heal. It only stirred what heaven was about to ignite. The heaviness didn't destroy you. It revealed how much fire is really buried inside you. Your body may have felt weak, but your spirit is unshaken. Your house may have felt tense, but your atmosphere is shifting. And your heart, though it's been through silent battles, sleepless nights, and unseen tears, your heart is still beating with purpose. You were forged in the silence. You were strengthened in the struggle. You are not what happened to you. You are what survived through it. The wings of your destiny are beginning to unfold. The fire that tried to consume you has now refined you. The confusion that tried to cripple you has now made you sharp and sensitive. You are stepping into the elevation they never thought you'd reach. You are climbing from the ashes of their expectations. And when they see you rise, they'll be confused, because they thought this would bury you. But the ones heaven chooses often look like survivors before they look like soldiers. The ones heaven calls often go through fire before they carry glory. And you, chosen one, have walked through both. That means you're not just rising. You're being revealed. So declare it now. I am not what the enemy tried to label me. I am not broken. I am built. I am not lost. I am led. I am not weak. I am woven with power. Every test you faced is now fuel. Every shadow that came to intimidate will now serve as your footstool. Type I am rising in the comments if this word ignites something in you. Blessing code 5050 is now awakening power in every place the enemy thought he drained you. Now hear this, for this is the turning point, not just in the message but in your spirit. Archangel Michael now speaks with thunder in his voice and clarity from the courts of heaven. The battle you've endured, the heaviness that crept into your health and your home, the shadow that tried to take root in silence, it all came because something greater is being birthed in your life. The warfare was not random. The conflict was not accidental. The pain was not without purpose. It was a sign, a signal, a spiritual announcement that your breakthrough is near. The enemy does not attack the stagnant. He attacks the rising. He targets the one about to step into authority. He releases pressure where there is potential. And beloved, the pressure you have been feeling is proof that something holy is being unlocked in your atmosphere. The enemy saw it in the spirit before you even understood it. He saw heaven shifting in your favor. He saw your name moving up in spiritual authority. He saw doors being unlocked, healing being released, assignments being elevated. So he came early. He came to distract. He came to divide. He came to depress. But heaven has made it clear. The attack was loud, yes. But the revelation is louder. You are stepping into a realm of divine promotion. You are walking into the season of manifestation. And the affliction was not your ending. It was your evidence. The tension in your home was a sign. The strange fatigue in your body was a sign. The spiritual static in your atmosphere was all proof that your next level had already been spoken in heaven. Yes, your name has been spoken. Not just by people, not just in gossip, but by angels, elders, and the cloud of witnesses. They have mentioned you in the place where eternal purpose is decided. They have discussed your assignment. They have seen the oil poured over your next season. You are not forgotten. You are not being overlooked. You are not being punished. You are being positioned. And because you are being positioned, the pressure has come. The darkness tried to confuse you, but now the light reveals the truth. You are moving from surviving to ruling. You are shifting from warfare to witnessing. The affliction was your midwife, but the blessing is your birthright. The very thing that came to curse you will now confirm you. And the next 24 hours carrying the vibration of breakthrough. Miracles are now on the move. Healing is on the way. Restoration is already at your door. Why? Because the battle broke the resistance in the spirit. You are not the same as you were when this began. You have been awakened, anointed, and assigned. And heaven says, what was locked is now opening. What was broken is now being made new. What was hidden is now being revealed. This is the hour you reclaim what was stolen. This is the season where the affliction ends and the glory begins. The heavens are open. The angels are moving. And you are chosen to receive what the enemy tried to delay. Type my name is known in heaven if this revelation hits your spirit. Lesson code 3131 is now opening prophetic doors and accelerating your next level. What you just received is not mere encouragement. It is a prophetic revelation tailored by heaven for such a time as this. And if this message reached you in the very moment you needed it, that means you are part of the mission to carry light into places where darkness thought it had dominion. When you give, through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are not just giving to content. You are sowing into a divine movement, one that rescues the weary, restores the broken, and revives the chosen in their hour of decision. Your seed becomes oil. Your support becomes a sword. Your obedience becomes someone else's deliverance. I heard the Lord say, those who bless this mission will receive the blessing of multiplied fire. Your giving is not a donation. It is a prophetic response, and heaven honors it. So don't delay. Partner with what heaven is doing. Support the flow of messages like this and be part of awakening others. Give boldly. Sow intentionally. Stand with us supernaturally. Type I stand with this light if your heart bears witness. Your support is seen. Your harvest is sure. Now that the shadow has been exposed, now that the veil has been torn from this hidden attack, the moment of decision has arrived. Because awareness is not enough. Revelation is not enough. The battle was never meant to leave you paralyzed in fear, but empowered into action. And Archangel Michael now declares, heaven is waiting for your alignment. Your words must now match the truth you've received. Your declarations must now partner with the breakthrough that's already in motion. You cannot sit in silence while heaven is roaring on your behalf. You cannot hesitate while angels are standing at the gates of your next level. This is not the time to shrink. This is the time to speak boldly. Move prophetically. Activate your authority. Your destiny is not automatic, it is activated. Activated by faith. Activated by declaration. Activated by agreement. Heaven has released the resources, but your yes is the key that unlocks the release. You must open your mouth. You must lift your voice. You must declare war on every lie that said you would not recover. You must break every word curse ever spoken over your body, your home, your future. Say it out loud. I am chosen. I am covered. I am ready. Now declare over your body, I shall not be sick. I shall not be weary. My strength is rising. My blood is blessed. My mind is guarded. My immune system is revived. No infirmity shall linger. No shadow shall stay. Declare it over your house. This home is holy ground. And no division will prosper. No strife will multiply. No strange fire will enter my door. Peace lives here. Angels guard here. The Spirit of the living God reigns here. Your words are not small. They are keys. Every time you declare life, another lock breaks. Every time you agree with heaven, the resistance weakens. Your declarations are not wishful thinking. They are spiritual contracts, signed and sealed in the unseen realm. And as you speak, angels respond. As you agree, the heavens move. As you align, the shadow is erased. The enemy tried to paralyze you with silence. He tried to smother your voice with confusion. But today, your voice returns with fire. Your prayers will not be passive. Your praise will not be timid. You are rising with the sword of the Spirit, and your next words are loaded with power. Heaven is watching, not to judge but to respond. The Father waits for your agreement. The angels wait for your command. Archangel Michael stands in readiness, waiting for your voice to release the final order. And when your voice aligns with what heaven has already written, miracles follow. Now, write the vision. Speak the promise. Sing over your sorrow. Take action in the natural that matches what you've received in the Spirit. This is not about hype. This is about holy alignment. Your words shift atmospheres. Your prayers pierce the darkness. Your yes is not small. Your yes is how destiny is activated. So move now. Take steps that match the vision. Speak life over your next season. Release declarations over your body, your mind, your marriage, your calling. This is your hour. The delay is over. The heavens are open. And your agreement is the trigger. Type I activate my destiny in the comments now. Blessing code 8888 is now surrounding your home with confirmation, courage, and clarity. Listen carefully now, for what has been happening around you is only the echo of what has already been happening above you. While you were weeping, heaven was working. While you were sleeping, something sacred was taking place in the unseen. And while you felt forgotten or misunderstood, The courts of heaven were in session on your behalf. Archangel Michael now speaks not with warning, but with revelation. Because what was hidden is being revealed, and what was stolen is being returned. There has been a silent exchange taking place. A transaction that did not require your words but required your presence, your stillness, your survival, your obedience. In the spirit realm, this moment hath been building for weeks, maybe months. The tears you cried into your pillow were evidence. The silent prayers that nobody heard were proof. And the shaking in your spirit that you couldn't explain. That with a tremor of spiritual negotiation taking place, angels were standing in places you couldn't see. Michael himself stood between the plan against you and the promise over you. What the enemy thought he took, your peace, your energy, your clarity, your sense of security, it was never fully lost. It was simply temporarily detained. And now, because of your obedience, because of your agreement, because you didn't curse what you couldn't control, heaven has issued a divine reversal. Yes, what was stolen is being returned. Not in fragments, not in partial pieces, but in fullness. Multiplied, refined by fire. The silent suffering you endured did not go unnoticed. While you were trying to keep it together, the Spirit of God was recording every detail, every sleepless night, every moment of confusion, every breath you took when you felt like giving up. There are tears that you forgot you cried, but heaven remembered them all, and they have been turned into testimonies. You are about to see the compensation of heaven. There is an exchange happening right now, even as these words reach you. The sorrow you carried is being traded for strategy. The weakness you felt is being traded for wisdom. The anxiety is being exchanged for authority. The delay is being traded for divine acceleration. And the silence you once hated is now understood as sacred. It was in the silence that heaven could work without interruption. It was in the quiet that angels could be dispatched. It was in the stillness that heaven could speak on your behalf. You were never alone. You were never without defense. The darkness that surrounded you had no idea that a deal had already been brokered in the spirit. And now, you are stepping into the results. A restoration, a renewal. What they tried to steal while you were unaware, God protected under His seal. What the enemy tried to delay, God simply reserved. You are not stepping back into life the way you left it. You are stepping into a version of you that has been upgraded in silence. You are stronger. Hybrid. You are not who you were at the beginning of this attack. You've been negotiated for. You've been fought for. You've been refined in the quiet places. And what heaven returns to you now will be marked with fire and favor. So rest. Not in fear, but in holy confidence. Because the realm of the Spirit has already shifted, and the evidence will now begin to manifest in the natural. You will see healing where there was heaviness. You will feel peace where there was pressure. You will recognize the shift, because your spirit already sensed it long ago. Type "I receive the divine exchange" in the comments to come into agreement. Lesson code 4646 is now returning everything the enemy tried to hijack, with interest. Now comes the moment when justice speaks, not the justice of man, but the justice of God. For He is not only your protector, He is your defender. He is not just your healer, He is the judge who presides over every whispered lie, every hidden curse, every plotted attack, and every subtle sabotage launched against your name, your body, your home, and your mind. And Archangel Michael now moves with a declaration. Spiritual justice is no longer pending. It is in motion. What they thought would go unseen, God saw. What they hoped would go unheard, heaven recorded. What they did in silence, the Spirit of the Lord has now reversed in power. The weapon that was formed against you, the confusion they stirred behind closed doors, the envy that cloaked itself in fake smiles, it has all been placed before the courts of heaven. And the scales have tipped in your favor. You've been patient. You've been still. You didn't expose them. You didn't retaliate. You didn't curse them, even when you had every reason to. And because of your restraint, because of your obedience to silence when your flesh wanted to scream, God has released a verdict that no enemy can reverse. This is the hour where what they planned for your destruction is boomeranging. Your plan is collapsing under the weight of its own deceit. The net they laid for you, they are now falling into themselves. You must understand, the reversal is not just poetic, it is prophetic. This is not karma. This is the King of Heaven executing his righteousness. This is the righteous being vindicated. This is the holy being upheld. This is the chosen being avenged. And it will be visible. Not because you seek revenge, but because God wants the earth to witness what happens when his child is touched without permission. Now watch what begins to happen. Watch the conversations shift. Watch the people who once brought confusion begin to fade from your life. Watch as the very atmosphere of your home begins to feel lighter. Watch your energy return. Watch divine connections be restored. You are not imagining it. You are witnessing reversal in real time. Sickness is reversing into healing. Fear is reversing into boldness. Lack is reversing into overflow. Isolation is reversing into divine alignment. Everything the enemy tried to twist, to break, to steal, heaven is untwisting, repairing, and returning. What you thought was over, God is resurrecting. What was held back, God is now releasing. And it is happening because justice has spoken. And hear this, the enemy does not get the last word. The accuser has been silenced. The tormentor has been restrained. And heaven has ruled, touch not my anointed, and do my prophets no harm. The decree now surrounds you like a shield. Every dart they tried to send now ricochets back. Every word cursed now turns into a blessing in your hands. What the enemy meant to bury you with is now becoming the very soil your roots grow deeper in. Now is not the time to doubt. Now is the time to celebrate justice. Now is the time to prophesy reversal. Say it out loud, everything meant for my harm is turning for my good. Every lie spoken is becoming a ladder. Every delay is becoming a doorway. You are not a victim. You are vindicated. And this vindication is visible, vocal, and violent in the spirit. Type I receive heaven's justice in the comments if this word hits your spirit. Blessing code 9292 is now enforcing divine reversal over every area of your life. Now that the sword has been drawn, now that the alarm has been sounded, now that your eyes have seen and your spirit has awakened, let the final decree be spoken over you. Archangel Michael has not come to frighten you. He has come to seal you. This was never a message of fear. This was a message of revelation and release. Yes, the shadow touched your health. Yes, it crept near your home. Yes, it tried to hide behind emotional exhaustion, sudden arguments, and unexplainable confusion. But now it has been exposed. Now it has been confronted. Now it has been broken. The hidden attack has lost its grip because heaven intervened before it could multiply. There is peace coming back into your body. There is light returning to your house. The confusion is lifting. The pressure is breaking. The strange heaviness is dissolving. Because the Lord has raised his hand over you and declared, enough. No more silent torment. No more spiritual ambush. No more dark fog hovering over your day. The shadow has been dismissed, and the spirit of clarity, strength, and order has taken its place. The final covering is now being placed over your body, healing, over your mind, soundness, over your home, stillness, over your timeline, divine acceleration, over your decisions, divine strategy. What the enemy thought he could touch, heaven has now sealed. What the enemy tried to twist, heaven has now straightened. And your name has been marked in heaven's books with these words, sealed, seen, sent. You are not leaving this word the same. You are walking out of this moment with a different posture. You are walking out covered, equipped, commissioned, and protected. This message was not just information. It was a divine impartation. You didn't just receive words, you received weapons. And now, everything that comes against you will come against heaven itself. Now go forward, unshaken, unafraid, undistracted. Go forward knowing that what was meant to destroy you only exposed your authority, and what was meant to discourage you only activated your destiny. From this moment forward, you walk under a new level of awareness, a new measure of protection, and a fresh outpouring of divine fire. Speak it over yourself one final time. I am sealed. I am seen. I am sent. No shadow can touch what heaven has covered. And let the angels take it as a legal decree. Let the enemy hear it as a warning. Let your soul feel it as truth. The battle is already shifting, not because you fought harder, but because you obeyed. You listened. You responded. And now you are covered. Type I am sealed, seen, and sent in the comments to finalize this divine moment. Blessing code 0007 is now resting over your house with full power and peace. If this message reached your heart and spirit in a way only heaven could orchestrate, then this isn't just a word for you. It's a call to be a vessel of light for others too. As you walk away sealed and covered, consider how your support could help others receive this same divine protection and revelation in their hour of need. When you give, through YouTube Super Thanks, becoming a channel member, or through the PayPal link in the description, you are not funding a platform. You are fueling a spiritual rescue mission. You are sowing into the fire that wakes the chosen, shields the weary, and silences the enemy's voice in someone else's life. Give, and it shall be given unto you, says the Lord, pressed down, shaken together, running over. Your act of giving becomes a supernatural echo that breaks chains far beyond what you can see. This isn't just generosity. It's obedience wrapped in fire. So step in boldly. Help spread the word of heaven. Partner with this prophetic assignment. Let your giving speak in the Spirit louder than the enemy's attack. Type "I support the mission" if your spirit says yes, and let the blessing chase your obedience.